Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and welcome once again to the Bourse Report. Today, we ask the question, are you making best use of your scarce US dollars that you have in savings? What we do know is that in the local banking system, there is some 3 billion US dollars within the system. And this is just over some 20% of the total deposits within the system. Of that, over $1 billion is held in individual hands. And as well, in the mutual fund sector, some $1.5 billion is in US dollars. So, are you making the best use? That really is the question. And today we are going to look at what has been happening over the past year and further back in terms of equities and the return on equities in Trinidad and Tobago as well as across the world. And we'll drill down thereafter to certain specific regions and then make some recommendations for you to consider about making best use and generating best returns for your US dollars. So let's start and look to see what's happening across the various regions of the world. First graph. Across the major regions of the world, you would see on your left side of your screen the TT dollar. What has been happening to it year to date in terms of returns measured in US dollar terms? Just 2.1%. And when you look across the region, you can see Africa, US 14, just 15% return. This is the capital appreciation on investment in equities, that's in the stock market. Europe, close to 20%. Latin America, over 25%. And Asia, excluding Japan, 33%. What it means is that we may be missing out on investment opportunities with our US dollars. And we need to look at how we can best generate improved returns. When one considers that expected growth going forward in the world is supposed to be about some 3.6% in 2017, going to 3.7% in 2018, there is a lot of headroom for that economic growth to translate into market returns. Let's go next to see what's happened in terms of the equities over a period of time. And this graph really looks at what has been happening on a cumulative basis over the past period in Trinidad and Tobago as well as across the world. Trinidad and Tobago, year one year looking back, about 4.8%. This is year to date from October 20th going back to October 20th in 2016 as opposed to calendar. And for the 5 years, if you invested $100, you would have gotten a 19% return. That is $119. If you look for 3 years, Trinidad and Tobago 1.7, 24.7, all measured in US dollar terms. And then when you look 5 years, you would see, excluding dividends again, Trinidad and Tobago 9.7, taking the stock market, and 56.5 taking a representative world index. What does it mean? It means that you need to look outside to see how your US dollars can work better for you to the extent that you will place some of it in the stock market and equities. Let's go again and look at what's happening regionally. Latin America, all the various countries that we monitor have done very well in 2017 year to date in US dollar terms. So US dollar invested, when you look across Colombia, when you look straight across to Chile, you are seeing very positive returns. Brazil, one of the areas we concentrate on, 29.5%. So let's take a look, drill down further and see what's happening otherwise. So as we drill down further, we will see that when you look towards the question of Brazil, which you see on your screen, when you look at Brazil, what has happened? We talked about 29.5%. Look at the graph from the beginning of the year to now. And what you would see is there has been some volatility with issues of corruption scandal, political issues, and so on. And you would see that somewhere in the middle there in May, that the market fell considerably, has picked up and has continued to this stage at about 30%. So you can get into this investment into Brazil, and so through our Bourse Brazil Latin Fund. Go on again and look at year-to-date performance in Asia. And you can see, apart from Japan, which was about 16%, everything else was about 23%. This is the accumulated value or capital appreciation, excluding dividends, in these various areas. And you can see China up, South Korea up. And of course, one of the areas that we focus on is India. It's up 27.1% in an economy that is growing, although on some decline, but one of the highest growing large economies in the world at above 6%. So what can we say with regard to what's happening? Let's take a quick look at the India index, and we see that 27% going up. How can you participate? Whether as a small investor or as a large investor, on the small side, you can participate in mutual funds that exist in Trinidad and Tobago by transferring your US dollars from a bank deposit earning 0.1% to something that can give you appreciation as it has this year of 27.1%. Good value for your money if the market continues to run in that direction. Next graph, as we try to get to our next graph, let's see what's happening there. And then various options. We talked about the compounding, and you can see what's happening in terms of if you were to hold your US dollars in a bank deposit for a large number for 4 years, you would get just about $40 on 10,000 over time, earning 0.1%. If you were to put it in our local money market funds that are fixed return, you would get a higher return of 10,509. And if you were to put it into a world equity fund, you would be getting 13,194. Very significant changes as you look at upticks in terms of returns as you look at these various factors. So time to spend some time looking at these. We continue to hold to our teams in a time of very scarce resources, US dollar resources, your scarce US dollar resources, linking your investment horizon. Go to bonds, go to equities, 1. 2, target positive inflation-adjusted returns. If inflation is eating to your returns, move to areas where there is lower inflation. Diversify by asset class. Again, bonds, equities going longer, and diversify by geography. Spread, don't hold all your assets in one basket. And of course, diversify by currency. And the only way you could diversify by currency is if you have a hard currency where you can spread investments across the world. That's it from us at Bourse. Have yourself a wonderful investment week. We continue to provide consistent and up-to-date information that can add to your value. Look for us on the various by phone, by website, by email. Contact us if you need any more information. Look for us in the newspapers as well for our various mutual funds under Bourse and Save Invest. Again, have yourself a wonderful investment and safe week. This is Subhash Ram Kilawan for the Bourse Report.